All right, boys, it's a mechanical emergency. The Yazoo is coming back. We're loaded for bear. Let's bring her home. Anyway, lied about the whole emergency part. I'm out here actually I'm cutting some yapons for another project. But anyway, cousin's just sick of fooling with the Yazoo. He tried to get in there and fix the oil breather baffle thing, and then snapped a couple bolts holding the engine cover off, and then just lost all initiative. So she's been sitting out there for probably 2 years, year and a half, something, and run at least a year. But anywho, he said he's not gonna mess with it, so come back and get it. So I'm gonna come back and get it. All right, there she is. Let's see if we can get her fired up and back to the house. Oofta. That's water. Ooh. Well, that's good to know. I'll have to keep this thing covered if I take it back. Also, those are the broken bolts in question. So, potentially water on the valve train. We'll just pretend that that's closed. That rotted, so that tank has water in it. So, definitely a, left tank switcheroo. Oh, that's seized too. Oh, that's good. Oh, this got work cut out for us. Well, I got her jumped, but for whatever reason, starter won't spin. Can't tell if it's an interlock or if solenoid's just bad. I'm gonna beat on it somewhere. All right, after some noodling and some poking, it's definitely, got her at run. It's definitely either the ignition switch or an interlock because, oh, come on now. You just did it. Because, yeah, come on. Anyway. If I shunt 12 volts from here to here, solenoid engages and she cranks. I think it is the parking brake because I believe this left guy over here, I think this brake drum is stuck because I can't move that, but I can move that. And I think that's not going far enough to engage the parking brake, which is then not allowing me to turn the starter. So I'm going to spray some goop in there and then do that again and see if she touches off. All right, too much, perfect amount. Put choke back on and we'll see if we get contact. Well, she's trying to do something. So we have ignition, that's for certain. Probably full of water. Good thing we didn't hydrolock at the very least. I'm gonna give her a little bit more sauce. It's very cold out. Gas is probably bad. And see if we can get something to happen. But she's not foobar. She sounds a little bit. I think she wants some air. Don't know. Yeah, definitely interlock or ignition switch. Probably interlock. She sounds sad. Sounds very sad. She's trying. She's trying. All right, we primed the fuel system. Now let's see if it does something. Probably should have put choke on. That would help. Oh, probably should also do that. Yeah. We'll give her another shot of the good stuff and then try it one more time and then let her cool. Too much. Perfect amount. All right, we'll rest the starter. Hey, look at this. Oh, it's starting. It was the ignition switch. Oh, you were just doing it. I think there's just a fucky contact. She needs encouragement. come on. Almost got it. Now we know it's that at least. Okay, well, I have thoroughly proven it's the ignition switch because she's doing this now. Yeah, she's intermittently working and it's all on the switch. So, okay, so not parking brake. That's good. Yeah, I don't know. She's not touching off on the good sauce. So, I'm wondering if the plugs might be failed. I think I'm going to pull the plugs real quick and just make sure nothing screwy's going on or there's not water in there or something weird. She may not be making compression now or something. I don't have any tools with me other than just the regular toolbox, so we'll see. Getting late. Might be the end of it today, but at least we know she'll, do kind of something maybe. All right, both spark plugs look fine. Not oily by any stretch of the imagination. This one looked it looked like it was firing on this one and not that one. So I don't know what that's about. But I don't think she's getting gas. I think the needle and seat are jammed up and I can't get in it to bang on it at the moment because it's underneath all that. I just don't feel like getting in it at 4:30 at night in the middle of a hayfield. So we're gonna put everything back together, head home, and come back tomorrow loaded for bigger bear. All right, next day, less laryngitis, more Jeep. Just gonna try the same again, but got some two-stroke gas to starting fluid. We'll see if it wants gas instead of starting fluid. I've also got the compression tester and the spark tester and voltmeter and everything, so we'll try and figure out where this is at. I'm thinking there might be an intermittent ignition issue, and it's just not firing up because it's not getting all of the ignition at once, because it was not lighting off in that starting fluid like it should have. But it could just be bone dry with low compression. I don't know. We'll pour some gas on the gullet. If it fires right off, then we know it's a fuel system delivery issue. And if not, then we know it's probably ignition related. We'll check spark. If we have intermittent spark, then I guess we'll hotwire the ignition. That's probably what it is. I hope it's not that CDI, because nothing I can do about that short term. But anyway, we'll see. Nothing else. I got tow chains and a big tow hook, and we'll just drag it out of here and, I don't know, ratchet strap the steering wheel and see if we can drag it back to the house. I don't know. We'll see. All right. A little bit of gas down the gullet. Keys in the run position. See if it does something. Got the solenoid to click when I first got up, but I don't think there's enough power in the battery. We'll see, though. All right. Battery actually took a little bit of a charge yesterday, but we absolutely need to hook her up to the Jeep, so we'll get that running. All right. It definitely seems to me like we just have bad contacts in here because it's clearly got enough juice, but it's just not enough to come through there to actually get things moving. So just give her a go. Oh. Now she's just not cranking at all. Well, that's exciting. Maybe I just cleaned up all the contacts and everything, so let me get the Jeep running, and we'll fiddle around with those a little bit more and see if we can get something better going. Well, I think the starter might be gone now, because it does this. And when I bridge the contacts, it just kind of growls. Actually, yeah, it's not happy. Might have burned it up yesterday. Yeah, she was just like kind of growling before. Now she's just sparking. Solenoid still works, but the actual motor itself is very much sad. Well, that ain't good. Let me check everything one more time. All right, looks like it was just bad contact. All right, well, battery definitely needs to be souped up, but I poured a shit ton of gas down this thing. Oh, I guess you probably don't need choke then, but. Ooh, boy, she ain't happy. Let me give it a little bit of starting fluid and we'll see if that does something better, but she's backfiring fierce. Or no, that might be coming out the exhaust. Oh, yeah. Yeah. That's strange. I don't like it. All right, good stuff inbound. Oh, boy. That's interesting. Where did that just come from? Damn. Yeah, she is not igniting correctly. Interesting. Well, I know that valve train is fine. I'm wondering if something's up with this valve train. Huh. Let's try a little bit more gas. No more starting fluid. All right, she is backfiring something fierce now. She was just on fire a minute ago. So, I have a feeling that ignition has gone south. And additionally, that we don't have anything coming out the carb. And this thing just wants to piss gas the second I tighten it down, which is not ideal, but we'll give her a little bit of juice, and then I'll show you what I'm talking about. Yeah. Does that. Probably not supposed to be doing that. Oh, she tried running there for a second. Yeah. Well, we have spark on this side. I'd show you, but the ignition stopped working. Now it's doing weird shit now. Is that trying to light? Now she's stopping again. Yeah, so there's electrical gremlins, but I know we have spark, because when I was holding that, trying to look to see if we had spark, I got electrocuted. So there is spark. I'll check the other side real quick, but I don't think it's going to make a difference. I think either our fuel pump has stopped working, and additionally the CDI is like out of time now, and it's like firing on the wrong stroke, or potentially one of those valves is just, the intake valve is a little bit jammed down, and so it's backfiring or something. I don't know, but it's weird. I wasn't doing this the last time I fixed it. I think sitting out here in the rain for a year and a half did something nasty to it. I'm wondering if there's a lot of humidity in here from these snap bolts, although this is still pretty flush, and that should have taken a set. But anyway, yeah, I am just going to check spark on the other side real quick, and then I think I'm going to hook a chain up to this thing and like ratchet strap the steering wheel into that position, just run one straight down like that, and see if I can drag this puppy home. Don't know how the hell I'm going to do that, considering I have to make a really wide, sharp turn, but yeah, I'll figure it out. All right, let's see how far we can get with that. Just got to go about half-mile home. Let's hope it rolls. Still gonna ratchet strap that, then we'll yank it. Hopefully the Jeep isn't overheated. Oh, getting salt water on top of the engine is never good for Dodge wiring. Well, here goes nothing. Oh, well, if we're lucky. That's progress. I'm gonna make sure I'm not about to knock over the chicken coop or... There we are. We're coming. All right, now time to get home. Well, Jeep is overheating because the rad fan has melted, and I started smelling electrical fire and opened this up, and factory smoke was coming out. So I've had to pop both fan relays. And yeah, we're just gonna have to limp home. I already got her hooked up. Oh great, now that's broken. So yeah, thanks Dodge wiring. But yeah, don't get salt water inside of your Chrysler products, kids. It's always a bad idea. I've had so many problems with this fan, and I don't know what it is, but I'm pretty certain I have a spare fan. So we will hook that up. I think whatever my ground is for this fan, wherever the hell that goes, is just shit. So yeah, salt is not fun. All right, well, the Jeep really seriously started overheating, so I had to stop, disconnect the Yazoo. I got about halfway back, had to stop, drop it on the side of the road, and fly on back home before she overheated, get some actual air flowing through this thing. And we are going to swap in I think this is an aftermarket radiator fan. I don't remember. All I know is that it takes a different fan bolt, but I think this is the original, if I remember correctly. Fan shroud I have to keep, but yeah. So that's what I'll be doing this afternoon, but I'm going to go fire up the truck and drag the Yazoo back over here. just so that it's not in the middle of the fucking driveway. Okay, well, that was a little more pressing on my mind, so I just went ahead and replaced that. That took like 10 minutes, so if we're lucky, the fan will kick on. Put the relays back in, but we'll at least see what the temp is. She was right there when I cut her off, and it's a dummy switch. It doesn't do anything between there and there, so we'll see. She's probably going to vapor lock and not start, but yeah, vapor lock. And we'll see the fan runs. Cut the AC on. Well, fan ain't running. That's a bad sign. Oh, there she goes. Hey-oh. Okay, good. Jesus, do not get salt water on your Dodge. Damn. Anyway, we're gonna go park this sucker, get the truck, and finish moving that goddamn mower. Yeah, all right, well, ended up dragging her back to the yard. I think my theory about this drum being locked up is correct, considering we got that, and that one is not clogged full of dirt. So, yeah, that'll be fun dealing with. I don't know how, I mean, this thing sat out in salt air this whole time, and then I guess just because it sat in the rain, it's been under a pole barn, you know, up until I gave it to my cousin. Well, I guess I just took it, fixed it up, and then gave it to him from his mom, I guess. Anyway, I digress. But anyway, I've got a free 3-point rear steering seat, whatever the hell you call it, mower, and it only cost me 1 Jeep fan. Nice. Yeah, that son of a bitch is locked up. Like, it just decided to just smoke itself for no particular reason. Oh, like, Jesus, that is supposed to spin freely. Glad it failed under, you know, rather controlled circumstances rather than when I needed it to not do that. But yeah, that could have been bad. Anyway, so I replaced that, and I just went and used the Jeep and pulled it back just to stress test, and the fan worked fine. It didn't overheat at all. So yeah. Anyway, exciting. We love our excitement around here, but not really. That was way too stressful. So yeah, I really don't know what's wrong with this thing. The best I can think is the valves are sticking on that side. It's got humidity in it or something. But I'm kind of worried about, you know, trying to take the rest of these valve cover bolts off. But I guess we're going to have to. My other theory is that this CDI box failed, but it's a sealed unit. I don't know why it would fail just from being out in the rain. That should be fairly weatherproof. Unless there's just something in the ignition that is causing intermittent, you know, spark or something. But really, it should just be 12 volts to the CDI box. So I don't really know. Can't say. Got good spark on both coils. Maybe it's because the gas in here is bad. And maybe it's because I was trying to run the thing off of probably like 10-year-old weed eater gas that a friend gave me, and I have absolutely no idea what the condition is. So, yeah, but it should run off of starting fluid, if nothing else. So I don't know at this point what the hell is causing it. Because it's not like it's getting flooded. Because I've been looking down the yap, and there's no gas puddled at the bottom. So it's not like the carburetor is just pissing gas into it. I can't say. I honestly don't have an idea at the moment. But what I do know is I need to pull that battery off and charge it. And I think I'm probably just going to do that and go inside, noodle on this, and whenever the hell I get time, because I'm doing shit the next 2 weekends, come out here and work on it. I'm in no rush. If nothing else, I'll fucking pull that motor out and stick it in the garage and save it for something else, and, you know, free battery. Yeah. Would like to keep it because this thing has some serious oomph behind it, and I can use this as a bush hog. But at the same time, I'm not putting any more money into this. You know, maybe $50, something like that. But yeah, this is a donate to somebody else. And I know a guy who takes mowers, but I don't have any way to move this thing. It's bigger than my tilt trailer. I don't have any way to move it other than to like totally detach the bed, which I don't want. I don't want to decouple that drive shaft or that gearbox. All right, well, I managed to get the battery out. This guy is rusted all the way into there, so that may be contributing to some of the electrical issues, but we'll see if this bad boy takes a charge. It's only about 1.5 years old, but it is, I think it's a 1-year warranty, never start. And we're going to employ the brand new battery boiler. I helped a friend move, and that's where I got that old 2-stroke gas. But she also let me have all the other crap in her garage, including various other garbage that I've mostly thrown out. But I got a couple of cool things, and one of them is an actual battery charger that has like buttons and things and stuff. And I don't know if it works yet because all the batteries I got from her were bad, so I don't know. But we have Old Smoky that we can use if nothing else. So I'm gonna get this thing to boiling, and hopefully we still have a good battery. All right, I have no idea what this thing's doing. I think it's not charging. I have no idea how to work this. I should probably look up a manual. But when I put it on boil mode, it doesn't really do anything. So we're just going to use Old Smoky, and we'll see if it does something different. If Old Smoky does something different, then I know something's screwy with this, and I probably need to huck it. Well, Old Smoky's tried and true, and it's doing what it's supposed to be doing. So I'm just gonna let that boil this guy, and I don't know what the dealio with this guy is. I'll wait till this thing's down to about a 5-amp charge, and then I'll swap it over and see if, well, Lord, that dog is mad. She really wants to go for a walk. I'm going to go do that. But anyway, see if this thing actually works, because I have no idea if it works or not. But I like Old Smoky. It charges. It's reliable as hell. The thing's like 40 years old, makes a horrid buzzing noise. But it also just boils the battery until it's fucking melted. You can't leave it unattended. So anyway, I digress. We'll boil this. All right, I'm on the sauce now. Let's see if this guy's boiling. It is still making some noises. Calm down, Smokey. I'm not seeing water bubbling out, which means there's either no water in there or it's doing just fine. We're still up at about 7 amps, so she was down pretty low. I think I got enough voltage in it with the car battery that I'm not going to have to like do the weird sister charging and all that other stuff. So she's been going for about a half hour, so that's pretty good progress. I got a timer set to go off at 7 o'clock. It's 5:30 now. I'll come back out here and check her one more time. Well, it's been there 45 minutes, and she's still going. She's another almost 2.5 amps lower. Not boiling yet. So, well, might be boiling a little bit. I'll rejigger those and see if we can let her boil for another couple days. Well, good old Smokey. You can always depend on her to boil a battery. Well, we're at about 3 amps, so that's about good. Just, oh boy. Yeah, probably shouldn't have let that go for 3 hours. Gotta love old Smokey. But anyway, we're gonna disconnect her and move her down here where she can. Oh, good fucking God. That's a lot of water. Great. Sulfuric acid does wonders for concrete floors. Shit. Well, we're going to have to pop those and fill those up in the morning. Yeah. Thankfully, sulfuric acid doesn't do too terribly much to polyurethane-soaked wood. So we'll just let that be for now. Ugh. Well, somehow all of these are still basically full. I mean, I'm not going to put any more in there. They're right there at the bottom. So I guess they must have just been overfilled with rainwater or something. And that all boiled out because there's plenty of water in there. So I don't know what the fuck all that was that boiled out. All right, another day of battery boiling. It smells like vinegar in here, which is an interesting sign, and also the floor is turning white, so definitely was acid that was spilling everywhere. I'm glad I got that all over my fingers. We have elected to not use Old Smoky. Oh, hey, it says the battery's done. That was cool. I just plugged this thing in a second ago, and it was charging right up here in about the 3 amp range where I was expecting, and you saw that. It says it's done. Let's put it on manual and just put her on 2 amp, and yeah, just let it trickle for a bit. I guess we'll put her on automatic for a second, and I'll just let that go over dinner, and I'll come back and we'll see if it just stays done like that. But I checked the voltage, it was 12.65, so that's fully charged as far as I'm concerned. Great, so battery's fine, and definitely boiled. But at least we know it's not over full now. Well, and after a couple of hours of sitting on the trickle charger, she is well and truly charged up all the way. So great, battery is A-okay. All right, so real quick, battery's charged up. She's been sitting, but I'm going to clean up these terminals just because this one looked especially corrody. And just get all this rust out of the battery, because I can't imagine that that is particularly good for the connections that it's trying to make. And thankfully I have this Canon, like 20-year-old battery cleaner, so we'll see if that does something. And then I'm gonna try and do a compression test. I just want to see if something is up with the compression. If I remember correctly, we were in like the 160, 150, 160s the last time we did it with the engine warm. So if we're still in that area, then I know that we don't have a valve problem. If we don't have a valve problem, then it's got to be an ignition issue. I'm wondering if potentially that ignition switch just has some really bad contacts and we're not actually getting 12 volts to the ignition system. And so the timing is just all fucked up because it's interfering with whatever the, electronic, circuit controlled, ignition system is trying to do. In which case, maybe just cleaning up the contacts, cleaning up the ignition switch, because we already know there's something wrong with the ignition switch, will, fix that. Because even if I'm directly jumping the starter and I have the key in the ignition system, if that ignition switch is interfering with the power going to the actual ignition system, that could just be having, compounding issues that I can't fully comprehend with my monkey mechanical brain. So we're going to do that and then hope that it fixes things. And I'll probably just have to pull the ignition switch out, clean all the contacts, try it, and if that doesn't work, take it out and jump it directly at the harness and see if that improves things. So that is my current course of action, and we'll see if we can get to that before I have to go to a board meeting in half an hour, because volunteer boards are always fun. And it's going to be raining all day, so tomorrow. So anyway, we'll see. Well, that might be an impediment. Let me go see if I have another nozzle. Well, that's not what I thought it was. This is basically just baking soda and, pH indicator. So that's kind of worthless. So anyway, we're using mass airflow sensor cleaner. And I'm going to have to get out cheek poker or something, because that is not taking that rust off. But yeah, we're going to clean these up all nice like, and then run it back on there. And, then go clean up an ignition switch. All right, now those suckers are nice and shiny. Let's see if we can get this back in the mower, get a compression test done, and figure out whether we have an electrical gremlin or a compression gremlin. All right, battery's back in. Let's see if the ignition does anything better. Okay, well, that's definitely better than it was before. Oh, you hush. She did something to her tail. Now she's all mad because her tail hurts. Well, that's what you get for running into bushes and getting big, nasty tail pimple cysts. Anyway, seems to run. Let's just see if something happens. Yeah, well, that definitely cleaned up the starter problem, but still probably not getting fuel. Anyway, we're going to leave this until after my board meeting, so I'll be back here at like 4 o'clock or something. However, I hope this fucking doesn't take 2 hours, but anyway, we'll pull this back in here and we'll do a quick compression test, and we'll just spray some starting fluid down the yap and just see if something happens. And if it does, then we know that it was really just bad voltage that was messing with something. And, that's not the case. We'll let the ignition clean that up. So anyway, I digress. I'm going to go wash my fucking hands and go to a board meeting. All right, well, it's suddenly cold out. I don't know why it's doing that. It's only January. But anyway, got both spark plugs out. Interestingly, this one doesn't look too bad. Looks a little bit more fouled than it was before. But this one is now very oily, which it was not doing before. I did use 2-stroke gas to try and run this thing. But that kind of looks like engine oil, which is a little concerning. So yeah, I'm going to hook up the compression tester real quick. Or I might actually just turn this thing over and see if like gunk blows out of one of these. Just in case. I don't see any gunk signs. But anyway, we're going to hook up the pressure tester, check compression real quick, see if it's, even and normal on both sides. Then I am going to take mass airflow sensor cleaner, which is basically contact cleaner. Clean off both spark plugs real quick. Should I do a brake cleaner? I'll just use the brake cleaner for that. And then we'll see if we can get it to run off of either brake cleaner or starting fluid. Once those guys are cleaned up and, you know, everything else is fiddled with, and I'm going to clean up all these contacts down in here as well with contact cleaner and wire brush, and just see if it's just some little kind of just compounded weirdness going on, or if we have something more serious screwing with us. All right. Drinker side says 175, so that is perfectly good. Seems like it's actually higher than it was before, so that's kind of interesting. All right, let's check the other side. Definitely markedly lower, which is interesting to see. It's showing 160, but nothing crazy. I mean, that's what, 15 psi difference. That's within 10%. So, you know, not concerned. It's a lawnmower anyway. Just don't really know why it's being so ornery. We'll just say it's ignition then. It's obviously not compression at the very least. There are a lot of crows somewhere. I can hear them. Oh, there. Look at all them fucking things. Very far away. Anywho, I digress. I'm just gonna squirt some goo in here and just see if it touches off real quick after I clean off the spark plugs and put them back in. And if that's the case, yeah, maybe it's just some weird ignition gremlin, and then I fouled spark plugs and it stopped going. All right, well, I tried to clean the ignition switch and like basically hot wired the thing. It started spinning, and I'm too lazy to disconnect the power, so we're just gonna spray some brake parts cleaner in it, put spark plug back in and clean them up. We'll see if she touches off. Here's hoping. Well, that's not working. Let's try starting fluid and see if that does something. Choke, maybe? Well, I don't really know what the fuck to say anymore. I cleaned the ignition switch. No change. I mean, nothing in there looked particularly squirrely. I mean, the contacts on the switch itself are fine. I have plenty of spark at the actual spark plugs, hooking up the spark tester. Unless it's just like so weak that it's not actually jumping. But the only time it'll fire, it backfires out the carb, and it's very seldom now. Took screws off the CDI box. Nothing looks, particularly bad. I mean, that's epoxy, potted. It's not like it can really go bad unless something just heats up and burns out. It's weatherproof. I can't get this plug apart, but I don't really want to. I don't really understand enough about what is going on in this whole mess of wiring down in there with the stator and everything and all that to know what the hell I can, try and hot wire in here. But I really don't know what to do at this point. It won't fire on starting fluid. It won't fire on brake clean. It won't fire on gas. It's got plenty of compression. I can feel air going down into there. Can't really feel air coming out of the exhaust, but there's so many baffles that I wouldn't be able to anyway. That's a loon. Anywho, I don't know. Something is just screwy. I would really like to take the valve covers off to, get in there and, look and just make sure nothing horrible is going on. But I don't know. We have spark. We have compression. We don't have fuel, but I'm supplying the fuel manually. I don't know. It has to be something ignition related, but I just unless it's just somehow firing it on the wrong, like if it's just firing on the intake stroke or something. But I think it would be a little bit more consistent than what it is. It's just something is off, and I can't really quite tell you what it is. All right, well, we got that off, and definitely hear that solenoid working. That guy's got power, so that's probably not the problem. I'm just going to crank it over real quick. I have the fuel line disconnected, and as you can see, there's no fuel there, so pretty certain the needle and seat is totally closed, and I just want to see if I can actually get fuel pump up to here, and if we can't, then there's something wrong with the fuel pump. So give that a shot. All right, well, I definitely have gas up here to the carburetor now, but I don't think it's gas anymore. Yeah, I think that's mostly water, so we definitely have water in the gas, so that's a problem. But it wasn't getting to here anyway, so not like it's in the carburetor, but we'll have to address that. So that's exciting. Got some in my mouth, and it doesn't actually taste like gas. It just kind of tastes like greasy water. But yeah, fuel pump is working, but it is struggling because there should be a lot more gas coming out. Yeah, well, I guess that might be gas a little bit, but see if that pressurizes. Exciting, interesting. Oh, I tried doing something there. It means we're getting gas in it, probably. Woo. Okay, well, it is gas, and it is actually, looks like the needle and seat is not stuck. So, exciting. That's progress. Well, you're not going to believe this, but it just tried to run. We give it half choke and try that again. Okay, so, yeah, I don't know why it's not, maybe it's just really thirsty or something. She sat there and she idled for about a second. Let's give her, maybe she's flooded. All right, one more time. It's doing something, but there's gas coming out of that carb now. A little bit less stroke, maybe. Well, that cleared all the rust out the exhaust. That's interesting. I feel like I had two. Huh. Wonder why rust came out of that side. I think I might have blown up the exhaust a little bit. Interesting.
Is that a hole in the exhaust? Oh, wow. I did, in fact, blow up the exhaust. Cool.
Maybe that's why there was no air coming out the side of the exhaust. Because I grenaded the entire pipe. Exciting. Let's give this one more go. Whew. Yeah, something is just wrong with this thing, and it ain't happy. Well, that was an attempt to run. Okay, she has life. Exhaust is exploded. Neighbor's dogs are mad. Okay, well, still not entirely certain what's wrong with it. Probably just bad gas at this point. Maybe that's what we'll try doing. Maybe we'll just pump the gas out and put good gas in it. Or maybe we'll just throw a choke back on and keep doing this until we blow the exhaust up even more. Huh. She's alive. Barely. Houston, we have a running mower. Okay, she ain't warmed up yet. Let's give that one more shot. See if we can blow the exhaust up again. Almost. She might want the air cleaner on her. Let me throw things back together and see if I can get something to go, or we'll just do this again. She is not happy. I have a feeling that something is up with this fucking mower's fuel system. All right, so we let her calm down for a second. We put the air cleaner on. We are just going to put choke all the way on and see if it'll touch off real quick. Okay. I don't really why it's so inconsistent. I don't know if it wants more choke or less choke. I'm just gonna give it all the choke. Oh, it does. We have hydraulics? Hey-oh. Oh, it didn't like that. Definitely didn't like that. Let's give her a little more choke, fire her back up. Okay, she is very unhappy. She doesn't have enough power to let the blades engage. Every time I try and do that, kills it. I just kind of drove it in a circle over here, and then I had to immediately come back and park it. It took me forever. I had it parked right there, and it took me forever to get it started again. But the transmission works just fine. Brakes seem to work just fine. I don't know why the hell the thing seized up. Just because it wanted to, I guess. Definitely seems like it's just bad gas at the moment, because it won't stay running. I have to put it at about half choke. It's really hard to get the thing going, and it backfires and spits all the time. So I think just bad gas, and the plugs are a little bit fouled because of the bad gas. So it looks like the problem all along is just that she is a thirsty son of a bitch, and she just wanted a shit ton of gas, but just specifically gas. Apparently did not want the starting fluid, and apparently did not want the brake clean. Didn't even touch off on the brake clean. So she just is a thirsty girl, and she just wanted a lot of gas, and I've only given her bad gas, and she just didn't want to go on bad gas. So, but she like starts every time now. If I put this, but it seems like if she just like runs out of gas in the bowl. It looks like that fuel pump is just not pumping enough gas, and the gas is bad on top of that. So I don't really know what that's about. Could be that this guy that I plumbed in here as the fuel shut off. Oh, is that leaking gas? That might be leaking gas too. That guy could have failed. Actually, I think it did. But anywho, looks like there might be a fuel restriction in that valve in some way, shape, and form. Or potentially the fuel pump is just failing, or this hose has a crack in it that goes down in there onto that guy. Don't really know, but it looks to be a fuel issue. So great. That's much better than trying to suss out an electrical gremlin. So we are just going to set her up to get fucking 3 inches of rain dumped on her, and go fucking play Minecraft or something, because I'm just bored and I want to have fun. All right, it's the next day and she's all rained on. Just tried to fire her up so I could, maybe scooch her over here onto this side. Not gonna play. Just backfired like a goddamn 40mm grenade twice. Blew my eardrums out twice. She ain't moving. Ignition does not like being wet, apparently. Or it's just fucked again, one of the two. But yeah, in the interim, instead, I've came in and I have freed that up because that would not move. Just needs some greasing. I don't know. I mean, it was packed full of grease. It just needed oil on it for whatever reason. And dirt cleared out, but I have that up as high as it'll go. Doesn't go to 4 inches. Don't know why they have that set like that. 3.5 is as far up as it'll go because that bottoms out. But regardless, I'm gonna put air in the tires just to see if they still hold air. They all seem to actually be holding air to some degree, or at the very least, they're very hard and flat. So one of the two. And yeah, I got a whole laundry list of stuff I'm gonna try and do to this thing. If it'll run reliably after it, dries out and it warms up a bit and we put some slightly better gas in it, probably not. Then I've got a laundry list of stuff to do to it. But just gonna air everything up and let it sit for a day while we wait. Okie dokie. She will not start anymore, at least not without a lot of backfiring, which I really don't like doing because I feel like it's doing something to it and may have already broken something. So I'm going to not do that anymore. I am running under the assumption that this gas is just bad. It's just been sitting in this mower for a year. And it's just full of water and dirt and other garbage and just rotten. And it just doesn't want to run off it because it's, fucking, how old is this damn thing? 25-year-old mower. It's been sitting out in the rain for a year. So I'm going to get in there, replace that rotten fuel line, pull that fuel shut off out of there. And just see if I can bottle feed this thing off of some fresh gas and just see if it'll touch off, which is a dangerous proposition considering the fact that it backfires like a damn cannon. So we'll see how that works. And then if it'll run, if I can purge, the carburetor and get this thing to run off of fresh gas, then I know that I just need to dump that gas out of there and then dump that in my other mower. And she should just run fine. But we'll see. If that doesn't work, I don't really know what to do. I'll check the fuel pump pressure while I have everything off, just because might as well. I'm going to have to cap that off anyway. Might as well put a fuel pressure gauge in it. And we'll see. I am currently running off the assumption of bad gas. I was going to buy some heat, but then was lazy and didn't drive to town, so I didn't get any heat. And I only have 95% isopropyl alcohol, which you have to have 100% for it to be iso heat. So that would kind of defeat the purpose because it would be 5% water anyway. But I digress. I'm just going to assume that something is up with the gas, and that's why our timing is all fucked and it's backfiring. So yeah, I'm just gonna do that real quick, and we'll see if I can get some success. She will just sort of cough to life, and then she just backfires immediately after that. And that's about as far as I can get her to go at the moment. And it's probably gonna rain, and I was gonna mow grass today, especially if I can get this thing running. And if not, just using the regular mower. But anyway, I'm rambling. I'm gonna stop. Look at that mongrel. She's fine now. She just randomly had a tail sebaceous cyst infection. Anyway, I gotta come clean with you guys. Yes, I know, it's horrible. My dad has a horrible Coke addiction, but we're not gonna let that get in the way of fixing this mower. So I'm using his addiction to Diet Coke to make a temporary gas tank. Here is a pro tip for y'all, if y'all ever need to do this. Stick the hose clamp on the bottom of the hose, and then when you screw the lid on there, it doesn't come off. So you can just fill this right up with gas, plug her on down into here, and just have a dirty dangle down there until it backfires, catches fire, and burns the whole rig down. So I'm gonna fill this up with some nice, like 3-month-old E-free gas, which should be just fine. And we're gonna prime this system. And here's the cool part about using this: you can actually turn this upside down, well, almost upside down, lift it way on up here, and use it like a primer pump to prime the system. Or you can just hook up a boat primer bulb like that, and then just use that. I don't know why nobody uses boat primer bulbs on any of these revival videos, and instead they've got clicky-clack pumps and all this other bullshit when they're just, trying to prime a system and check to see if a mechanical fuel pump works. Just use a primer bulb. I mean, like, shit. That just seems so obvious to me. But anyway, we're gonna gas this bad boy up, and we're gonna see if it touches off or explodes, or both. If Coca-Cola didn't want me to use their bottles as temporary fuel tanks, they wouldn't have made them fit on the end of gas nozzles. I'm just saying. All right, that's mostly primed up. The bowl is, in fact, full of garbage. So we're just going to crank on this and see if it explodes. And the dog's going to go off. That looked like something. I know, your life is miserable. And she's gonna backfire here in a second, next crank probably. Just purge her. Get out of the way. See, this is what I'm talking about. It's just like the timing is just all kind of fucked. Oh boy. She didn't like that. Anyway, yeah, I just don't fucking know what is wrong with this piece of shit. Well, I just tried to fire her up again and she's running now. So I'm wondering if it is in fact the gas, and that was just me getting through all of it. I don't know why why it ran off of the fucking water at the bottom of it before, though. Will she run without choke? A little bit. Okay. I think that was, in fact, the problem. Huh. Well, great. That saves me a whole lot of fucking work. He's got some blow-by. Hey, she'll even idle down. Don't like it, but... Okay, I think it was just bad gas then. Where is that smoke coming from? We'll ignore it. Look at that banana peel. How's she respond? Ooh, does not like that. See if she'll crank back up. A little bit of choke. And back to doing this shit. Alright, good deal. Well, we'll flush the fuel tank and we'll see if that makes a big difference or not. Hopefully she still runs on ethanol gas, because I'm not filling this thing up with E3, that's for certain. Alright, so I got that fuel tank off, broke a fuel tank strap, so we made a replacement fuel tank strap, which I'm sure will work perfectly and won't have any issues. God, that design is just retarded. There's not another better word for it. Like, you borderline have to take the wheel off to get the strap off. Like, how am I supposed to get that off a 25-year mower? Why would you even use an Allen key? Anywho, I'm probably going to cut that off and flip it around so that those are on top, and then have to replace both those bolts because they're messed up anyway. But it shouldn't be too hard because I already about broke this last time. But anywho, we're going to clean some gas tanks. All right, I went ahead and just replaced all the bolts on there. Thankfully, I had these loose enough I was able to just slip it out, so I just slipped it out and then bolt cuttered the bolts off and then just stuck way too long bolts in there of different sizes without lock nuts, and I'm just going to cinch them down because I don't care anymore. And yeah, that'll hold gas in place. And now we're going to go in here and we're going to clean out both of these old fuel tanks, and I'm going to have to seal up this old one because it's just kind of, you know, doing that. So I'm just going to, I don't fucking know, do something. I'm just going to slap a whole bunch of epoxy or something, or glue some rubber or something. I don't know what I'm going to do. But we're going to fix it some way, shape, and form, and we're going to get rid of all this bad gas and put it in the mower or the gator, probably the gator. And yeah, just make things ever so slightly less nasty. All right, so here's what we're going to do. We're going to pour all the bad gas into the worser gas tank, and then we're going to pour some new gas into there, just a little bit, switch it around, clean that out, pour it into that can. Then we're going to dump that into the gator. Not really, because I think there's like 4 gallons in there, and I don't think I think there's already 3 gallons in there. But anyway, we're going to figure it out. We're going to dump that into there, and then we're going to dump some gas into there, clean that out, dump that back into there, and then this will be clean, and then that'll be cleaner because now it's full of mostly bad gas, and it's raining right now, so water as well. And then we're going to pour most of that into the gator, and then I'm going to go find something to dump that into. Probably just going to empty that into there, and then pour the rest of that into there, something. Anyway, we'll figure it out, but it'll be clean. All right, well, she ate the whole damn thing, and she's about full, and she looks terrible. So, that's exciting. Ooh, yeah, that's the good stuff. That's what you want in your gas. So, anyway, tune into the next episode where I drain the fuel tank on this gator and then pour this in my other mower. And before I know it, it's going to be in the Jeep. So, yeah, that's probably what's going to happen. Man, it's really raining now. But anywho, yeah, that should hopefully be as clean as those need to get. All right, I've just kind of jammed a bunch of shit in there and then glued it all in there with T8000 winter glue. And we're just going to let that cure. No idea if that stuff is gas resistant. About 90% certain it's not, but don't really care at the moment. It's raining now. Just reinstalled that gas tank. Got it pretty much secure. I'm just going to see if she'll fire back up. you know, just to prime this before everything runs out. And of course, she's not going to do anything. And backfire time. That was a weird one. She trying. All right, she's tired. Never mind. All right, so I've got the second tank on. No idea if that's going to, you know, keep water out and not explode if I put gas in it and it heats up. But that's kind of low on the priority list because we still have to, you know, do something about that. Oh God, that doesn't move at all. But anyway, I bought some heat, and will you hush? Anyway, I bought some heat, and we're gonna dump about 3-4 ounces in here just to hedge our bets. This is just methanol, as far as I'm aware, but that should hopefully get us to start a little bit better. And if there's any water remaining in here or trickling in here, because it's been raining like constantly, it'll, you know, this will mix the water and the ethanol together with the gasoline. It'll act kind of like a soap, because otherwise you get water in there and it mixes with the ethanol and falls out of suspension. And so the bottom of your tank just ends up being like basically vodka. And vodka's great and all, but engines don't like running on it because it's got too much water in it. But anyway, this'll mix everything together. It'll saponify the mixture and should hopefully start better or backfire even better. Well, I tried starting her and battery's dead. So we've got her over here on fancy new charger boil mode. And I don't know what that means, but I have no idea what any of this means. But anyway, it's doing something. And we're just going to let that boil and throw it back in there. Found a new one of those, so we'll swap that out for that. And that'll be fun. But yeah. All right, I left her on trickle charge for probably 16 hours, and as you can tell, as soon as I press that button, it goes right back to complete and starts boiling. So she must actually be charged, so that's great. This thing works. It just doesn't like dead batteries. So we're going to hook this back in there, and hopefully this thing will dry out throughout the day, and once it gets up about another couple hours, it'll hopefully be the warmest it's going to be all day, and we'll see this thing cranks. I seem to remember that this thing didn't like to start on 89% octane gas. I feel like I've already been through all this before, but I'm not watching all those 4 fucking episodes. It's an hour and a half worth of time. I ain't got that time. So anyway, I'm just going to do everything again. It's been 5 hours figuring out everything I already figured out and forgot. So yeah, we're going to throw this back in there and see if she'll crank. Got her going. Just needed some feathering and some warming up, but we're fully off choke. Running it with the blades on. Full tilt. She cuts. She quit. All right. That needs to be addressed though, so I think that's what we're going to tackle next. I think I'm just going to leave the valve cover on, drill those, screw extractor them, and if I break the screw extractor, then just drill that one out, and then put one big old grade 8 in there and put it about 75 foot-pounds, and we'll see what happens. All right, well, thankfully, as you can see in there, we have ears on these things, so I was able to drill straight through the screws, but they are, in fact, grade 8 equivalent, or metric. And yeah, I can get the screw extractor in there, and I can smack on them, and I've got it where it's rock solid, but I'm going to snap that screw extractor if I go any further. Can't put heat on it because it's saturated in oil and it has a plastic valve cover, and the head's aluminum. Best I can think is to heat the hole, is to warm the block up and then spray cool the bolt to see if I can get them released, or actually drill them out a little bit further. Trouble is, I don't have the size screw extractor I need. I've got the 7/64 bit equivalent one, and I need something just a little bit bigger, because the next size up that I have is snapped off. I thought I bought a set, but it looks like it doesn't. Looks like I just bought one when I was in a pinch. So I'm going to need to pick up another screw extractor, or just fucking hog these sons of bitches out to about 1/4 of an inch and then just retap them for like a 3/16 and then get our grade 8 running in there. I'd rather not do that, but I guess I'll just spray them down with some penetrating oil and maybe drill them out a little bit further, but I can't go any further with these with this screw extractor. It's past the point. where I can save it. So I'm going to have to go pick up another one of those. And I ain't doing that today, so I guess I gotta figure out something else I'm gonna do in the interim. Or I'll just beat on it some more and snap off a screw extractor, and then we'll be extra double fucked. Well, boys, we done goofed. We done goofed. There goes a chunk of the head. So, yeah. Don't know what the fuck I'm gonna do now. I guess just fucking JB weld the whole damn thing on there and pray. Well, we're definitely going to tap that one down there now. And, call it a day. Hopefully that didn't fuck the whole engine, but I've never let, you know, something like cracking an ear off of an aluminum head stop me before, so I'm probably just going to jam 700 pounds of JB Weld and Permatex in there and just hope it seals, because I am not taking those two off, that's for certain. Okay, things have gotten desperate. That guy, as you saw, is snapped off. I am now at the point where I have got maybe a quarter of what's left in there threaded for 5/16 course. And we are just going to degrease the inside of that and then just fucking slather this bolt in red Loctite, cinch it on down there with about 10 foot-pounds and never touch it again ever, and hope that that end stays. And if it doesn't, cry, because I don't know what I'm gonna do. I mean, maybe if I'm lucky, I can jam a nut back there and like get a little clamping force on it or something, or Dremel that or some, I don't fucking know. But suffice it to say, shit is pretty close to fucked right now. All right, that's marinating now, and we're just gonna let all that Loctite just cook down in there. And we're not gonna touch this thing for a day or two, and definitely not gonna fire it up for the rest of the weekend, probably. I hope. It should, if we're lucky, hold. And hopefully that won't leak too terribly much. And if it does, I just stuff it full of JB Weld. Just pull the, I don't fucking know what I'm gonna do. Well, check transmission real quick, and that's probably not good. It's a little low, and it's also half water. So, yeah. I guess we're going to have to change this filter. And I guess it also means that this thing is not waterproof. Don't really know how the hell the water's getting in it. But yeah, exciting. Gotta love getting battery acid on your $50 pair of coveralls. And these were my going to church coveralls too. God, I wish that were me. Anyway, I may or may not have pounded 3 ice houses, and then I pulled the deck cover off, cleaned out all the dirt right onto the nice clean concrete. It's not clean, I lied. And yeah, I kind of want to know whether or not there's gear oil in that gearbox down there, but at the same time, that shit is sealed, and I kind of want to open it. But I also want to know whether or not there's gear oil in it. But at the same time, I don't want to know whether or not there's gear oil in it, or at least I don't want to know the condition of the gear oil that's in it. So I don't know what I'm doing at this point. Probably just open that up anyway if I can figure out which one's the fill plug and which one's the drain plug. I can't tell. That bolt snapped off, so that's exciting. I didn't, notice that prior. Anyway, all I wanted to say is, ice house for the win. Do you guys remember when this shit was 5.9% alcohol? Like sometime in 2016, 2017, 2018, whenever the hell it was? That was a good time. You fellow alcoholics know how it is. Don't waste your money on Busch lattes. Get Ice House. It's 5.5. It's like PBR, but actually tastes like not vomit. Okay, so something dawned on me yesterday when I was thinking. I think this thing is pre-detonating. I just remembered the fact that we've got, like close to 180 PSI compression, like 180, 160 on some of these cylinders. 87 octane gas might just be, detonating. It probably doesn't have, the knock resistance. Maybe that's why our timing's all fucked up and the thing won't run until it's hot. I don't know. That's the best I can think of, because it ran off of that fresh 89 octane ethanol free gas, no problem. But I put 87 in there, put a little bit of methanol, put a little bit of E-free gas in there, and it's really hard to start, but once it's going, it's fine. I'm wondering if I can throw a little bit of lead substitute in there as a, knock resistance, octane booster. and see if that helps it out. I've probably got 2 gallons in there. I'm gonna go grab some Hapco and pour a little in there and see if it improves anything at all, or if it makes it horribly worse. Yeah, I'm wondering if having something close to like a 93 or maybe 95, probably don't want to go that high, getting some, into the 90s, I wonder if that might help. All right, so I've got this bottle of Hapco lead substitute for the Corvette, and I'm just gonna add like 1 to 1.5 ounces into here, because I should have about 2 gallons in there, and that says it's 1 ounce to 1.5 gallons, and hopefully that fixes things and doesn't make things worse. I think I'm gonna shoot for about 1 ounce, so just a quick little glug, and that should be it. And then we'll just shake the thing around for a little bit, crank her up, and well, we'll have to purge, the whole fuel line and the fuel filter and the bowl and everything, but it'll let us know if it makes an improvement the next time I start the thing up, if I can get the thing to run again. Because she'll start up and then she like won't start back up unless you hit it real fast. It's really confusing, and I'm hoping it's something to do with the fuel and not like the valve lash and the valves being totally untimed, because I can't get in there to set valve lash, as you saw. So yeah, but I need to get her running today and just run her around for a little bit and see if that valve cover's still leaking. If it is, then we're going to snap those other 2 bolts off and then, drill them and then tap them for something much smaller, and just RTV the piss out of that thing. But we'll have the valve cover off and we can set valve lash at the very least. So yeah, I'm hoping that ends up not being the case, but we'll see. All right, drinky. It's probably enough. All right, gotta run him without too much trouble. We'll see how long it takes to warm up, and let me blow it off the choke some more. She's heating up pretty quick. Now it's time to see whether or not we start pissing oil everywhere. Probably gonna start pissing oil everywhere, but make a dream. I can already smell that, thread cutting oil burning off of there, so we'll see. But I'm gonna go run around the yard and cut some grass a little bit, see if things go horribly wrong. Probably should do something about that, milkshake in the transmission. I got some oil, but I just don't care at this point. All right, we didn't make it very far. She'll run for about, I don't know, 30 seconds, and then all of a sudden she'll just die, and it's like she floods, because I'll just let her sit there for a second with the throttle open and the choke open, and then just fire up, and she'll fire, and then when she goes to die, I have to give it so she's like not getting enough gas, but at the same time flooding out or something, and then all of a sudden she'll just make a noise like a diesel tractor starting up, and smoke will spew out the front of it. So I think we're blowing oil straight into the carburetor. So probably whatever was wrong with the oil breather is now double extra super wrong. But it looks like the valve cover's not leaking at the very least. Will you come off this thing? Fucking sucks. So anyway, we're gonna tear into here, but we're not leaking oil out of there anymore, so that's fixed. And I expect to just see an absolute deluge of oil down in here. But she is not happy. Something is very wrong with this motor. It's still smoking. It's been like 5 minutes. Yeah, she's just right full of gas or smoke or something. Let's see. I'm not seeing immediate oil on the breather tube. I've been fooled before. Not seeing oil down here, but she is just something is doing very wrong things inside of this engine, and it's not letting me get anywhere. And there's not really much oil in there, not any more than I think. Yeah, I think she's just suddenly puking oil in there, and she's just like fouling out. Weird. Anywho, I gotta get grass cut today, so I'm not gonna fuck with this. I'm gonna go get the, actual mower that works and go cut grass. But yeah, sums up with this mower, and I don't know if I'm gonna fix it or not, because I have to take valve covers off to get the oil breather out, I think. Or do I? Maybe not. Maybe not have to. They have to take everything else off of the engine though. I feel like this thing could do with some valve timing and a repack breather, and it probably doesn't like that lead substitute gas or lead substitute added to it, but it'd start up just fine. I'll show you, it starts up fine. But she just kind of sits there at idle, and if I engage the blades and I try and drive this thing, she'll all of a sudden just start knocking and cheeching and smoking and spewing and spiffing. And I don't really know what to do about that. Just something's wrong, and I don't know enough about engines to know exactly what's wrong. Just that it's probably expensive and time consuming, and I don't need a fucking 25-year-old 3-wheel mower. Well, as you can see, I didn't get all the grass cut. I got most of the grass cut, but not all that, because the regular mower that works is in the shop, because the transaxle drive belt has that much play in it, and that's with the idler bottomed out. So the wheels don't do the turning all that good. I got 3.5 acres cut though, at the very least, maybe 3 acres cut. So it was about all I could do to, you know, finish everything that mattered in the yard. So now we've got this guy in the yard, and the whole reason I wanted to get the grass cut was so that I could take this thing in and do a winter tune-up, because I got new tires and new blades. I'm gonna do an oil change on it. It looks like now I'm gonna have to order a transmission drive belt. Do that too, fun. Well, anywho, this has been cooling down for 4 hours now, so we'll see if it cranks back up. Probably won't, but you know, man could dream. Well, tried. Something's just sad. I poured about another 1.5 gallons of just regular 87 in there, just in case it didn't like that lead substitute. But I'm gonna see if I can get it warmed up and drive around at all or anything. Just see if it'll do what horrible things it's doing to me before. It's just sounding like a diesel and belching back on there. Oofta. Pretty sure I fixed it. I think the air cleaner just is like soaked or something. I think it's starved with air. Because I took the entire air cleaner off and I couldn't get the thing to stone no matter what I tried. And I can slam on it with the blades on. She just goes, no problem. Either that or it really wanted me to put more gas in it and finally just cleared out the carburetor or something. But it's hard to drive this thing one-handed. It's running fine now with the whole filter and cover off. It is like pissing out of that cylinder, which is interesting. Through the breather, so I think that's how the water's getting in. But it's working for now. I'm here to cut grass and eat ass, and I'm all out of grass. So you know what that means. Anywho, done cutting grass. She cut grass just fine. Just apparently she needed air this whole time. That was it. Yeah, I mean, I have a feeling that when my cousin said the oil breather was belching oil everywhere, I think she might have meant that one and not that one. Man, that is exciting. Yeah. Whew, boy. And that brake drum is on fire. I was wondering why there was smoke coming out of there. Damn. No wonder she turned so well on that side. She is cooking. Anywho, there's apparently a lot of things wrong with this that were not wrong with it before. Yeah. Oh, yeah, and she's puking oil. So she's puking engine oil, she's puking hydraulic oil, and she's puking brake drums. Exciting. I don't know what I'm going to do with this pig. Oh, my God, look at the heat coming off of that thing. Ain't even that hot out. Shit. Yeah. I just beat the ever-living piss out of it. It's really fun to do donuts over there on that old dance floor. And yeah, she runs just fine now. She was just starved for air, I guess, or had to run something out of it. But the hydraulic system is not happy anymore. I don't know whether that's coming out of that fitting or coming just out of that breather, but you saw it. She squirts everywhere if you touch this jobber here. And that's the transmission fluids. That's not a good sign. I'm assuming that's how the water's getting in it as well, is somewhere up here on this jobber. And yeah, she's smoking. She's smoking a good bit. She still have oil in it. It's on the stick, I think. So we'll say that's good. Anywho, I think that's it for this episode. That's probably it for this series. I don't know if I'm ever going to do anything else with this thing. I'm just going to go take it and park it down in the tractor shed, since my regular mower, good God, just look at that. Just wafting. I'm gonna go park it down in the tractor shed since my regular mower's in the shop now, and drink some beers and just generally enjoy myself. And yeah, we'll see if this thing burns down or not. But I'm sick of looking at it and working on it, but grass is cut, so what can I say? It had one last cut left in it, if nothing else. Wow, she is just hosed. It was pissing out of there, and all I did was drive it about 100 foot. Hot damn. Oh, boy. Well, that's probably the end of that piston. Good God, just that brake drum is just smoking. Holy hell. She's a dumpster fire. She is absolutely a dumpster fire. I don't think I should leave it in here because I don't know if I'll ever be able to get it back out of my tractor shed. Let me move it. Oh, man, that's probably not good. That's probably not good either. Just simmer down now. Kind of don't like that. Oh my God. That smells like burning rubber. I think the tire was on fire. Just cool yourself on down. Probably not the best sound. Well, we're done here. She's cooking. I don't think she's air cooling. I don't think the brakes are unlocking, and this breather down here is just pissing transaxle fluid everywhere. It's not good. I have no idea what I'm gonna do with this thing. I'm gonna leave it right here. I was gonna stick it in the tractor shed, but I'm confident I won't be able to get started again. So we're gonna leave it out here, and we're probably gonna sell it for scrap. Because I am not getting in there and replacing that, tearing apart that brake drum, more than likely. Although that's probably the easiest thing. This could give me a nice opportunity to learn how to waste a bunch of money on hydraulic systems and, get hydraulic fluid poisoning when one of these lines blows up. Yeah, I just don't like how close that is to the gas tank, which is why I'm cooling this thing off. Yeah. Oh, the Yazoo is the gift that keeps on giving. Well, that's the end of this episode. I am not going any farther with this thing anytime in the near future. And if I do, it'll probably end up in a giant fire. And if it does, there'll be an episode 6. And if it doesn't, this thing will just disappear in the background. Yeah, but if you like this kind of stuff, like the video, comment. Tell me what you think is wrong with this thing and whether or not you think it's an easy fix. I'm scared of hydraulic systems. And yeah, if you want to see the rest of this saga, if it does continue, then you gotta subscribe. So go down there, smash the big red button, and until next time, Tom out.